in this particular indicator of this particular standard, I think we're in 3. Well, why? Because I'm not seeing it. And that conversation was happening among the committee members, so they can consensus on, this is what we're going to say for advanced ed, this is what we're going to upload, and this is what we're going to put in there. And so we have to show evidence, we have to defend it, we have to be able to talk about it.
In the same sense, that we also challenge where they score themselves too
That's
low.
right. Yes, there are some times where you self-score, it's 1 or 2. And I've seen schools, when I did school visits, that really are probably a little bit better than they think, but those are the kinds of questions that the team asks. They continue to probe and ask questions, and it sometimes results in them scoring higher. Throughout the visit, they will rate us 3 different times. They will rate us based on the hard copy of everything we send them or the electronic copy, and then they'll rate us on partway through all the interviews, and then 1 more time. So again, it's by standard and it's by indicator. At the end of each of the assessments of each standard is a narrative. And that narrative is going to say, this is what we think we were good at based on our rating. This is where we think we need improvement based on our ratings. And it'll give a little bit more detail there. So you can skim through the ratings. That'll go rather quickly. But at the end of each one is a narrative that you definitely want to read. So that goes on for quite a few pages. That is a lot of work that everyone has done pulling that together. So if you go all the way through, and I think the assessment goes up to page 38. So the part after that is the student performance diagnostic. I didn't tab it, should have, because that's a biggie. So this is questions that are asked of us about our achievement. It'll ask us where we thought we performed better than we thought we would, but where did we perform not as well as we thought we would. So there's a lot of details. We talk about our notable areas of achievement. We talk about some trends in both the positive and the areas of challenge for us. So it'll ask us to look at positive trends. It'll ask us to look at negative trends. So that is very important information. And again, going back to those 3 goals that we have, performance to AMOs, closing the gap. And you'll see here in this where we have to talk about some of our challenges and where we didn't fare as well as we thought we could was in the gaps. Following that, because that's in narrative form, you do have a green tab. And this is the data. Okay, this is page after page of data, and I believe you've seen most of it before. Some of it is these charts. There is an overview of what's on our report card, which is this. So this is what comes right from the report card, and this is our demographics. It's our growth data and our performance data. It's our ACT. It's our graduation rate. What's our graduation rate? Is that what it is? Yes, 96.3. Awesome. Did you really know that? That is awesome, because I am telling you, there's one thing that we need to boast about. That graduation rate outperforms everybody around us by a lot. So yes, that's one thing that you want to know. Do you know if we have 11 AMOs every year? Well, this year, last year, it's like 2 every year. It'll change, I'm sure. And AMO means what? Yes, annual measurable objectives. And there are 11 of them that we have to do. Do you have any idea how many we met last year?
8.
8. We did. Wait, you're on a roll. Yes, we met 8, and that is in here. And we talk about that because that's where it's at.
And this, again, if that's not in front of you, that's hard to
It
remember.
is.
We brought that to you several months back, but that's one of the things that, again, if it's not funny, if you don't know that, but we want to make sure that you have those prompts. Mr. McNeese gets the gold stars tonight.
He does. The graduation rates are on the next page, and again, this is good. Our graduation rate is outstanding. And in the documents that you'll read and the narrative and executive summary, we talk about the graduation coaches. We talk about the support from the board for funding the graduation coaches. Read that, because I think as a visitor, as a visiting team, I would talk about that. I would talk about the role that you had with grad coaches and what we're getting for that. There is our report card information over a 5-year trend. No way do you have to memorize this at all, but the fact that you know it and you've seen it and you'll hear some lingo that'll be familiar to you, they're not going to quiz you. They're not going to quiz you. The next page is our academic achievement for last year and this year, and then our value added. Stop me if I go too fast. We have all the information from all the schools, what their TVAS level was, and their achievement for 2 years. Just FYI, this is what the team is going to see. In here also is where Wayne was very resourceful and found his information. We met 8 of 11 of our AMOs, and last year was an extremely challenging year, and 8 out of 11 is really, really good.
Isn't the state like 86, 87% graduation?
State is right around 87. You are absolutely right. And even our surrounding counties, right, we are, as a matter of fact, we had that article in the paper, and I think we've got that in our evidence collection. Our surrounding counties, we totally are blowing them away with grad rates. So I think that's going to be a conversation that the visiting team will have with you. This chart here way on the left is in our packet too, because this is a really good one-pager of how we performed last year. And you're going to see there's things in the green, there's things in the red, and then there are things that we met by safe harbor. You memorize it, just that you've seen this. And then it goes on with some actual performance. It goes on with some 3-year trends. It has some of our gap information, our district-wide TVAS, school-wide, and then it goes into breaking it down into schools along with ACT plan and explore data.
And see, the thing that it does with this, every school principal is prepared, they know
Same
based on their individual needs, and that is what drives how we improve as far as based on where we were last year. They have this in front of them, and this is what drives the direction of instruction in the school.
The last piece is the stakeholder feedback document. Julie Harrison, chair of that committee, it takes all of the surveys, analyzes the surveys, and responds to questions about highest level of satisfaction or approval, lowest level of satisfaction or approval. One thing that is important to you from district accreditation is that the district is familiar with each of these that the school has sent us, that there is some alignment. So it was very enlightening for us to look at survey results from the schools and how they aligned with each other, where people are, where the trend is in high or lower responses to that. That is the booklet. Okay. Quick overview of those days. The group will arrive on March 22nd. They should be at the hotel by 3. They will work the rest of that afternoon and evening. I think we mentioned to you about a dinner that night. Unfortunately, we will not be having that dinner. The board, or not the board, the lead evaluator has opted to work that night in lieu of going out to dinner. They prefer to just have dinner and just work. Typically, when you've got these 6 members together, they've never met each other. They're from all different places, and so he really wants to use that evening to get with his group, look at all of the information, and they'll start crafting their questions for the next day. So I know you kept that evening open for dinner in Nashville. Maybe we can all go out and celebrate when it's over. March 23rd is a big day here at the office. Big day. They are here all day, probably like a 7:30 to 5 o'clock kind of thing. They will listen to a director overview and do an interview. They will meet with all of the standard chairpersons, all 5 standards, the stakeholder, the student performance, early learning, T-balls, everything. We'll do an overview, they'll do an interview. And they will meet with all of the principals from the schools that are not visited, which I hope to know here in the next week. They will meet with stakeholders. We will invite community members, parents, and that sort of thing to come for stakeholder interviews. They do the board interviews. They've given us 3 time slots. I can't tell you much more than that. If you can keep 10:45 or 3 open, that would be just great. And I will let you know as soon as possible. It's a Monday. On the 24th, we really don't see them. They are in schools. They will be in schools all day. They'll go to a school in the morning. They will meet with the principal, and they will be in class. They'll be in classroom for at least 20 minutes. They will gather all of that information, take it with them. They'll travel to the PM school. Right after that, they go right back. I don't believe we'll see them on Tuesday at all. That evening, they're preparing their exit interview, and they will come here for the exit interview review and the board meeting where they actually do that. And then usually they're out of here about 2. Some folks fly in, the out-of-state folks. I know our lead is driving, but yeah, the other 2 out-of-state folks might have to be making a plane here. It's a lot. This is months and months and months of work. And when you start reading it, you're going to see how hard those chairs work and those committee members. And keep in mind that every school did the same thing. They had a committee chair. They had a committee. They did a student performance document. They did the surveys. They did everything that we did. It was like 20 of these that are from all schools. And they bought a lot of work. But we're confident, ready, and between now and then, I'll let you know anything and everything that I get. If you've got any questions as you read this, just pass it on to Dr. Wright, ask me, call me.
And I want to thank Angela because she's the one that has shepherded all of us through this process. She's also been one with the whip to make sure that we're meeting deadlines. But I say that in a very complimentary way because it was one of those to make sure not only we deadlines, but we don't forget anything. Because it's really about talking about yourself, and it's hard to get that information together. So she's really done a yeoman's job in making that happen. And the other thing that will come up with this is people say, well, so what? The good housekeeping seal of approval, give it accreditation. But one of the things that little know that when it comes down to when our students graduate high school, one of the things that we have to be able to say is that our high schools are accredited by a recognized entity such as Advanced Ed, because that makes a difference as far as colleges acceptance as well as scholarships. So that's something that very few people know, and put that in practice. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
All right, work session's over, we're reconvened at 6 o'clock for our regular scheduled board meeting.
Yeah, the regular meeting doesn't start at 6.
I'm good, good. Everything good for you guys? Y'all got one cup of glazed today. Good to show. We y'all just up here for the board.
Please don't knock that. Don't hit her coat. No, ma'am, but there's 3 seats there, 2 there. I don't want you to have to stand the whole time. Go right there. She better get on while you can.
Oh, no.
That's much better than standing up in front.
We can do this.
I'm good. How are you?
You walked past it, but you were focused on it.
I saw you when everybody sitting there, but I was like,
You were on the mission, so I didn't stop.
you been doing all right?
Resting or hard?
I'm ready for football.
You tried finish basketball and move back to the work that
They're doing art things. Here the kids are doing a presentation. Come on, Tyler.
You guys this year, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
I said next to mine. You're
Oh, I don't think so.
Excuse me. You have like the list. I'm sorry? Like, who's going to call that? Who's going to try to feel something?
Which one are you?
Make room.
McBroom? You're pulling it?
Yeah, we not going.
You sure?
I'll just talk to one guy.
Okay. I will let them know. Thank you.
No, I saw you called, or I saw you wasn't showed up on my phone the other day, but you didn't leave the result. There you go. Never called me. Yeah. Yeah. Text me. Or I should have.
Lance Key. I should get his name to somebody here because he would be able to. He's in, yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing here?
Marissa.
And he said, he does, he has,
Ellie, how old are you? How old is he?
Should we tell me? You should see Dalton.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures on Facebook. They're all getting it for the time. Usually because we have a group. I'm looking to see if any of them are here. Well,
I'll bet you. Oh, that's awesome. You know, today's been a Monday. It's been rough from the beginning.
pretty awesome. Is it over there in Brookside?
Yeah, landing on the bottom floor. It's additional. The only reason I'm sitting down is because I knew she would stand.
Oh, no. We're just gonna. That's pretty cool.
It's a lot better than me trying to hold it.
So that's how you video. Advanced technology is crazy.
Eventually, I'm hoping to get a tripod
Uh-huh.
so that if I need to shift it, like to get
Yeah.
a better picture or something, it's a lot easier than on this. This is,
How do you turn, you have to manually turn it?
yeah, you have to manually turn it, and on a tripod you do. But the thing with a tripod, it's got the handle coming out, which makes it a smoother. And this isn't designed. This is basically designed just to hold it stationary.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Better camera.
Now, if I could just remember from month to month steps, the more I do it, the more it'll get easier.
Okay. Oh, in front of everybody.
That's my only fear with this. I'm scared to death people ever die. Mr. Hall Knoxville thinks it's going to feel good.
And then,
This one makes us third.
it have changed. More uncaring. Mother. She always. Oh, look, so never give you. Yeah, they won't work. This is my actually my great grandson. And then it seems like it's a film. And kids and grandkids.
What time did I catch you? Please rise. We have various meetings in order. I will have word prayer. Father in heaven, we want to thank you for this day, for all of you blessings. Lord, we just thank you for the school system that we represent, all the families that are represented in our schools, the effort that they make to get their children to school, especially the weather that we've had. We know that it has created some problems in a lot of families. We thank you for that weather. We know, Lord, that you're in charge of that. We always need to be accepting of that fact. Be with this meeting as we get ready to call our board meeting together. Help us to do and make and say and do the right things. And the decisions that we make will be in the best interest of the most precious thing that we have in Wilson County, and that is our children. Forgive us for where we failed. Thank you for your son Jesus' name that I pray. Amen. At this time, I'd like to call the meeting of the Wilson County Board of Education to order. At this time, we will have our pledge of allegiance by the Blakeman Elementary School. While they're making their way forward, Miss Monica, when they get here, you come on in. We're always proud of all of our children, all of our schools. One of the things that we can do is have them come to the board. Let us show the fine things they can do. All right.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These are students we don't usually have representation like that. From Lakeville Elementary School, these students are in 3rd grade. So we got 8 of them. All right. They would like to show you some art that they've done and tell you a little bit about what they studied and what their art represents. We teach K through 5 at Lakeville Elementary School. We are very thankful for all of our administration and board members and teachers and staff that support art in this county. It is so important. With my soapbox on, it is so important. express themselves, they find value in what they're doing, and it's personal and it belongs to them, and they can take that for away. So that's important to us, and we would like to share what we've done.
How are traditional Missouri create social exposure at the elementary school? We studied the art of Alexei Lenin. He's a Russian painter who spent a lot of time in Germany. He was born in 1864 and died in 1921 at age 78. Zelensky's art is called German Expressionism. He painted many portraits and they all show strong mood. We like to use color and line form to express the inner self. We make sketches of ourselves looking in the mirror with faces to show different emotions. We chose our favorite sketch and then created a larger painting self-portrait. We hope you can see the emotion in our painting.
Emotion or character trait that they found that they were expressing for you. So,
My self-portrait shows the emotion of happiness. My self-portrait shows the emotion of love. My self-portrait shows the emotion of pride. My sailor's self-portrait shows the expression of happiness. My self-portrait shows the expression of sadness. My self-portrait shows the expression of the my self-portrait shows the emotion of secret. My self-portrait shows the emotion of flavor. My self-portrait shows the emotion of trying to calm down. The emotion of
happy crazy, in case you didn't hear that. So thank you for having us.
And if you did pick up even on their reading and as far as how they were expressing themselves, that is absolutely, astounding when you look at their age and their grade. But here's the other thing too. We're talking about Glenville Elementary was well represented at the Frist Art Center. And I mean, again, I can't think of any other special venue to see elementary school students displaying their work up there with a master. So thank you so much.
While they're making their way out, I think we probably all could learn a valuable lesson. We probably all need to make a self-portrait.
Yes, sir.
See where we need to go.
So many love them look like Bill Robinson, you know?
While we're waiting on Coach Kramer and some of the other guys, put some questions for make their way in, I would like to remind everybody, especially our board members, that we are being live streamed tonight. So let's all be on our best behavior. Let's try not to call anybody out. So same thing may be in order for the audience. Just remember that.
Mr. McNeese knows all that.
Right, I believe they're all in now. Look, we play here. Well, follow, Joe.
If Coach Craig up here, front and center. Front and center. Yeah. And as far as your students, the rest of them, if they can sort of join you up here so they can, and I know we've got trouble, but we need to recognize this group of young men. Start reading some of the accolades here as far as again. Something I found out really quickly coming into Wilson County was the wrestling program. As far as Wilson Central High School, you have people that are moving from out of state to participate. You know that that's something significant. Division I AAA state runner-up for the last 3 years, regional champions for the last 4 years. District champions for the last 4 years with a team record overall 44-3. And for this role, particularly, I recognize team Chase Berta. Simon Fergante. He's not here, but I recognize him. Nick King, where are you? Region champ. Caleb Bertha. Lane Dickinson. All state. I not believe that 6, coming in 6, is that correct? Okay. Sinja Nova. State champ. Nate Ford. Damon Smith. John Michael Dickinson. Zach Litton, region champ. Ben Lives. Perry Baltz. Fourth place, an academic All-American. John Kramer. State runner-up, an academic All-American. Christian Franz. Evan Junkie. And last but not least, we need to recognize Coach Kramer. Work. It's an individual sport, but it's also a team effort. And this is something that, again, that we take great pride in recognizing this group of fine young men and what they are doing, and particularly in promoting the sport of wrestling. So thank you so much.
Last year. Close.
The pressure's on, okay.
Okay, Chip, anything y'all want to say, Mr. Bevan, that like director?
Go walk, yes. Coach Kramer, I need to ask one thing, just out of curiosity. What's the significance of that hair?
Zach Littner was 70 pounder and came to school like that one day. I don't know why. And all the rest of us said, oh, we're going to do that too. So there's something they did as team unity going to the state play, going to the state championship. So
I was there living, I've been looking for new hires now.
I was there too, Mike. Thanks again.
Hey, how are you doing?
Next item on our agenda is WCS delegation. We have Kim and Christie Puffine there.
Thank you, Dr. Wright, board members for your board this year. As you have done so graciously in the past, we come to you this evening to request a one-year extension of years out of this tax year. I'd like to do a quick recap on our reasons for requesting this. First, our request continues to be based on hardship due to daily people experience living in the Southwest Division 11 and our daily needs and we sit just beside the city limits of Lebanon, and our commute currently going to Mountain View and to work is on average anywhere between an hour and 15 minutes to 2 hours every day. This takes into account leaving home at 6:30 in the morning. The afternoon commute is similar with departure time from our work around 4:30. The school Andrew is zoned to work, and Lebanon starts later than Mountain View Elementary. It does not offer a forceful care program. It's 15 minutes further east from the having Andrew in his own school will produce a significant hardship on both Chris and myself, since we would not be able to come to school, put in a full day's work, and then pick him up prior to the extended care close to 6. I work at Lifeway, and Christy works at Correct Care Solutions, both in Mr. Management. Second, Andrew is a strong performer in Mount Juliet Elementary. He's consistently on the principal's list with straight A's, and super bear every year from kindergarten through 2nd grade. He has excellent test scores and contributes to the school system at Mount Juliet Elementary. And Sandra Gresham, the principal, has already signed off his approval to keep him at Mount Juliet Elementary. We also have letters of recommendation attached to your review materials from his teachers. Andrew knows the school, the teachers and staff, all his friends are here as well. This would create a stressful time for Andrew to the new school prior to our second home step. The third thing I want to tell you real quick is that we have our own in the market. Moved to Metro area. We put it on the market back in October 2013. At that time, we worked with 2 different developers. We're currently working with West Main Realty, which is our Century 21, and this thing is cheaper realty right now. And we just want to ask you to allow Andrew an extension for the upcoming year. Back to mention, we try hard to contribute to the school and the system by being involved, helping his class and school above and beyond. This also includes sending in extra supplies to his teachers, money to help the class out, so that we don't have the funds to do transportation. We always think of that. And, we're just trying to put those in need. We are looking at homes in Mount Juliet, and several are in the district that the school is currently in. And, we just want to thank you in advance for what kind of questions can we answer?
Other questions? I believe the other folks that were here to make room, I believe they decided to go there with.
Yes, sir.
All right, move right along. Rental service agreement was sent to us. Dr. Wright.
Okay, you have the paperwork in front of you as far as it's stated by Giles, the principal, and it's to request a rental service agreement with Census. There's an attachment as far as for your approval. The agreement was requested, again, that she signed and dated and needs board approval. And you can see it's a very, as far as it's a one-pager that's backed up to that. And also it spells out as far as the sheet, as far as the rental service agreement, looking at black mats, logo mats, and a 4x6 black mat. It's pretty self-explanatory, but still it needs an annual board approval.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. McNeese to approve, hear a second there. Any discussion?
I've got a question for Mr. Jennings. Mr. Jennings, have you read this contract?
I read over it, I didn't read it closely, no, sir.
There's no dual indemnity here. They're asking us to indemnify them, hold them harmless but there's no joint consideration on our part. Is that something as simple as this may be that we should include in this contract?
We should include in there only as the state law allows, because it does not allow us to indemnify. So if you'll insert that in there, that will take care of it. I'm sorry, I hadn't looked at that. That's the general law.
Okay.
We have no authority to indemnify anybody with contract.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, I don't like single or one-way indemnification. If we can grant indemnity, then we want to make sure that they grant it back to us, so I'll leave that to you to make.
Right. You want it to be mutual, but the truth of the matter is we can't indemnify anybody.
Okay.
I believe that's item 6 on the service agreement.
Do we have a similar agreement with this, with any other school?
I don't recall any of the others.
You know me?
Part of this is their little logo on the map.
Yeah, just as long as we can get the wording to satisfy Mr. Jennings, I'm good.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, let so pass unanimously. Next thing on the agenda there, Ms. Clark.
I believe we have Ms. Sutton present to walk us through as far as the request for an addition to the tennis courts.
We would like to pour some concrete around our tennis courts, just sidewalks. And I have a little picture here for you.
Thank you.
I think you made a picture that did not have something.
Yes.
These are much better.
Basically, if you can see the areas highlighted in orange, we would like to pour a sidewalk there on the side of the tennis court. And then on the other side, put a single tennis court is. If you will look on the second page here, this rock is just a representative of the type of thing that's thrown, damaged. You know, we can't prevent everything. But if you look at the next photo with the cars, you can see how it looks there right next to the tennis courts. And what we would like to do is just simply improve this area, pour some concrete, and do a little landscaping in that area. And this picture in particular is pretty clear. We are not asking for any funds to do this project. We have the money in the tennis account. We have a parent who is a gentleman who does this type of work for a living, and he has donated his top price tennis, and he is willing to donate the labor to do this, and then we'll do a little landscaping, and he will install landscaping. It's simply a beautification and a little bit of improvement on the campus there, just to clear up that gravel area, and won't be quite so muddy, be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing right around the schools. Any questions? We're asking for your approval for us to move forward. We'd like to pour the concrete during spring break.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve this request.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Weathers that we approve this request for the tennis courts improvements at Wilson Central. Second by both Ms. Marston and Mr. McNeese. Any discussion? There's no discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, let it show the pass unanimously.
Thank you very much.
All right. One other question for you, Pat, before you sit down. How we stand on the stuff?
The information is all in the hands of the architect as far as I know. We had a couple of conversations, well, more than one conversation with him. I have not seen final numbers or plans at this point.
Thank you.
So your motion at this time that we adopt our agenda.
So moved on.
Here, second.
Second.
Motion second to adopt the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approve the minutes for the last meeting.
So moved.
Consent agenda. Approval. Motion by Mr. McNeese, second by Mr. Robinson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right. I saw one thing, Dr. Lamb, on the consent agenda that I like to ask about. Was the agreement in there from Lebanon High School. Are they having their prom on site this year?
If I remember correctly, no, that was permission to be off-site.
I thought it was about to reach 10 or something. to be on site.
The problem.
Maybe I misread it.
It's been a little bit since I looked at it, so let me just see as far as what they're looking for. Permission to grant, a tent from, Red Road Exchange for $635. They're also looking at, let's see, the agreement for that to happen, but there had been something that had come in earlier. It doesn't say where they're holding it, but this is, what they're asking for here is approval as far as for the tent, for Music City, as part of their prom, but it doesn't say exactly where they're holding it. But I thought they were having it off campus. And that was, and again, I don't have that in front of me, Mr. Chair, to tell you specifically, and I might be wrong. But this is, I mean, it's not unusual as far as if it's gonna be something that they can move events outside. I'm sure this is one of the large, I think the first was party tents, so it's not something that's unusual.
That's for the cost.
$635.
It's not a very big tent. Get that right.
There was no
Anything about the
description.
rental, right? Rental fees. Okay.
There was
good.
one discrepancy that I noticed that the total $635, we have two, and the payment one was $695.
Okay. Just curious as to whether or not they were having no campus.
And as I'm looking at, as far as, again, with the agreement and everything, nothing has really been signed, so this is one that, you know, again, asking permission, that's something we can, certainly follow up on to see. Because what you're also looking, not only is the rental, but there's also a damage allowance, and so they break it up. And, there's, it says payment one of $694. So I don't know what the addition is beyond that $635, but we can certainly look into that.
All right, moving right along. Any other questions about the consent agenda? We're gonna move on. Vicky's report was on the consent agenda, so we're gonna do leave that and move on to the next portion of our meeting here. Report from the county attorney.
Last time we talked a little bit privately about the status of the lawsuit over the mixed drink tax. I mentioned to you that I might float some things, and the possibility of the settlement. Did that. City manager was not interested in formal proposal that I made based upon what we talked about last month. So what's sitting there now is the proposal that they made last time to us. And Mr. McNeese, the issue that you were concerned about with regard to Mountain High School, they would not agree with that. So we're at the point where I think we've got to move on with this thing and accept their proposal on the two. It's been sitting out there for a while. I get calls about it frequently. I suspect you do too. I'm glad to talk to you privately about where we are. However you wish to do that.
What's the pleasure of the board? We'd like to recess for about 2 or 3 minutes while we get a report from our attorney, where we stand. Have your motion to do that?
So, all right.
Second. All right, we're going to retire for just a session with our attorney.
That chair needs to get moved.
Are you getting nervous?
Yes, I do.
She smacked me.
If that doesn't work, well.
Now, the basement part is the problem. The rest of it should be pretty easy. You might have a spot. I think that's good.
I thought I heard a familiar voice back there. You still got the same beard? What's going on? He quit on you? I've been teasing her about her hair being different every time I see her. So she quit. She's leaving it the same.
I'd be glad to do that.
What's she talking about? She got a bucket in her ears.
For about a year, maybe. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. Please give them my number. I'll call them. But I'll look up some old real tracks and see what they got. But I know it's got to be something. 3,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms, right? Yeah, so they come. Okay. Give them my number. I'll take care of it. Thank you so much. Okay.
You look like a bucket yourself.
You'll say come first.
I understand. Gotta make love.
Yeah, what's been? No, I just haven't had time to go get and redo my hair. I really haven't had time. I've been busy.
I just thought he quit.
No, you ain't going to do that. I'm busy.
Does he have a shop?
Yeah.
Which one is it?
He works at West Main, out there by Bellagio, Kmart. Yeah, I would do that. He also just had to take time with third shift at the other. He don't have any kids, just him. Yeah, he's making some money. He's gonna open up his own shop.
Yeah.
So that's why he's doing both. He's my favorite salesman.
You tell him I said he needs to, he's going to put business for himself. Take it from one of those. You need to have at least enough money in the bank to support yourself and your business for 2 years, at least. That's very minimum.
That's what I did. I had real estate. I worked and I paid off. I'm not about to shut it down.
Well, we tried running a space. And we last
Just tweet out when I come back.
but we didn't have anything saved up when we started. John's mom invested some money with us. They almost get started. And it was enough to keep us get us started. It was going for about 3 months. But then she ran into trouble. And we started to one best in the state. Repeated. 3 years. Best pay for our size in the state of Kentucky.
But say with me, my first year, I showed up $2 million my first year. Everybody's like, hey, you've done that, but I knew about it. And I had a rule that was technical, just money. So it all worked out. I guess that was just me.
Well, I don't know. I gotta see them all do the same kind of thing. Part of it has to do with all the time we'll start talking about term and you know, making people like you. Right off the top.
Then I done it, I only got in the booth there. All my time with my kids, I was right there. I got to, everything about your kids, pretty much. But I was right there. Now, my oldest son, he's a manager of a part meeting on. My other son, they were my daughter's teacher Southside. So they, I guess,
Yeah, I think it makes a big difference. If you can be home with your kids when they need you, you can make work for all the money in the world. I stayed with mine. I went back to school when my youngest one started. I was gone when they were home. I was there.
And I never skipped. I skipped my team and break. That way they had something in the morning. I could do that. They had something after school football. I never missed a football. This okay. My daughter read it. She was in like soccer. She did this soccer. She did this basketball. So I was there, but I was there all. And I think it kind of helped teach them about communication. They always saw me there.
Yeah. Well, that was part of it. Like I said, Bert was flat out for us.
Yeah.
And I see the same thing. You've never, I bet you've never met anybody like it.
Well, there's
well,
some
maybe
people.
one or two.
There's some people.
Yeah.
They don't like my house spoken. It's so well.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
But Nita did the same kind of thing you did too. She didn't go into real estate until her youngest was
Right.
Then she went ahead.
My daughter, when I got in real estate, my daughter, she's 34 now. She was maybe getting ready to go to kindergarten, first grade.
Yeah. Her youngest, Michelle, when she started real estate, was 14 or 15.
My daughter was first grade. She got to college, she's going to school and get her doctorate degree. And she's already got her master's.
I understand about getting cross-eyed crazy. That's what John's doing. That's what my husband's doing now. Yes, everything was graduated or mayor. Well, I don't call it graduated. Tell her she has to, or John's mother just told me. If it comes when they get the degree, if he does that, she's going to find it. She's going to take it up and stick it in that one. John did.
You're doing okay.
He didn't illustrate it. He got within one class of graduation. He eventually got the extra got his degree. He did about one. He was there. It was like 7 or 8 years. He got his master's. He was there and proud of himself. She's told him he's going to be at his graduation because they have to carry her out of the structure. There's reasons why she says that. She's 85. It's not me. Yeah, I'll be 86. That's what I really this is You give me 20 of them once, I'm in trouble. I didn't buy one, and I can't spread my identify enough out. I just can't do it. Where I just he tried to talk to me next, and like, he said, "You can go to your classroom while I was doing it."
Clarification on the question you asked about prom equipment, and this after we finish with that, I'd like to bring that up, please.
All right. Call this session of the Wilson County Board of Education back in session. Mr. Attorney.
Let me say first, members of the board, right, Smith County Education Association case allows me to talk to you about pending and threatened litigation. I can't ask for any votes when we meet privately, but I can discuss with you the current status of any lawsuit that we have pending. We've done that with regard to the matter that's been filed against the city of Mount Judy. Let me say to you that there is an offer on the table from the city of Mount Judy. From talking to you, I sense that that is not going to be something that will successfully resolve this. There are some things we talked about that we should explore, I feel like, while we're pushing this case forward. And there may very well be a basis to talk about how to make this lawsuit go away and everybody to be satisfied. So with that, I'm going to recommend to you that we reject the offer that's on the table, just so that it will be taken from the table. And that you allow me to pursue 2 or 3 of those ideas that we discussed privately and see if we can reach some type of consensus there. Each time I'll have to bring it back to you. Obviously, we go further. I can't prove anything like that, but I can shake the tree a little bit.
You need any more motion, Mr. Jennings?
I would feel better that I could do that.
I'll make that motion for Mr. Jennings, Esquire. Reject that offer.
Motion by Mr. McNeese, second by Ms. Armstead, that we reject the offer that's been put on the table. I hear any discussion. No further discussion. All in favor of the motion, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, that shows that the passing now. Any other questions, anything else?
Let me, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman, let me just mention to you that things that I bring to you here most of the time require some action. That's the reason I bring them up to you, this concept. Let me say to you that even though the staff and children have been out of school for a while, we've been pretty busy. And a school system of 17,000 students is going to have challenges from time to time and employment issues and other issues. We're working pretty hard. I just want to take the opportunity to say you've got pretty good staff here. They're working pretty hard and taking on issues head on. And I feel like we're kind of reminds me of the duck that we see on top of the water. It looks peaceful, but underneath it's kind of like crazy. That's sort of like what we've been doing the last 5 or 6 weeks. We've been working on a lot of different things, and that's not unusual for a school system this size. In fact, probably what's unusual about we only have 1 or 2 things to talk about. Just want to brag on the folks working for you and working for everybody in Wilson County.
I certainly agree with what you said. Thank you. All right.
Make a motion to accept Mr. Jennings' report.
Your second?
Second.
Motion second, accept the county attorney's report. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, like sign, that shows passing now. All right, Dr. Rock.
And before I start my report, Mr. Chair, Ms. Perry was kind enough to give some clarification on the question you had as far as the prom at Southern High School. They are holding it all sites at NBC Suites in Murfreesboro, and they are not running a tent. It's red velvet roping and stocking that they're renting from that party equipment. Not now, I don't know what they're going to use it for, but it was not to rent a tent.
Thank you.
Several things is, again, you have a copy of our report in front of you. First thing I want you to do is just look around the room and see how we have freshened up this room. And many things, we have pictures of our schools placed there. We also have the important as far as the things that we're working with, as well as the new mission statement that's been placed behind. So again, we really freshened it up, and many thanks to staff as far as taking that task on. And as you walk through the building too, you can see that it looks brighter and cleaner. So many thanks for that. We've had weather, the likes that, according to the Tennessean, we've seen 3 episodes, much like what we've experienced at 83, 84, and I think it was 94, 95. And so this is going to go down the record book as well. And we have had certainly an experience as far as trying to make sure that we keep people safe, getting our kids to and from school, and then also making sure that we were judicious as far as how to use that time. And again, it's a no-win, but doing the best that we can. We've used 8 stop holidays for inclement weather, keeping a close eye on the forecast. This Wednesday, which they're talking 3 to 5 possible inches, and this might be a record breaker coming this week. We don't know yet, so hopefully it will not be, but again, we're watching it, and we're getting there was an update this afternoon as far as the weather service keeping us posted, and as always, we will try to make a decision that's in the best interest of our boys and girls and faculty to keep them safe as well. We have 3 stockpile days remaining, just for the record, because I know there's been a lot of speculation out there as far as how that's calculated. So it's been pretty judicious to this. And I want to do a shout out to our maintenance guys. My goodness, what a job they did as far as trying to get things clear, get things plowed up the best they could. When you're looking at 21 campuses plus a central office, it was really hard, but they were out there in the cold, taking care of that best that they could. The other thing I want to also commend Wilson County maintenance going out and helping Mount Juliet High School. We had some games to play, and difficulty getting all that cleared up. They went out there and brought a lot of salt and then helped clear it so we would have folks that could get in and out of that tournament play, as well as kids getting into school. So that was to be commended as well. Spring break's coming up, contrary to the rumors that were abounding that we were going to cancel spring break. In fact, I had someone call me this morning. They heard from a very, very as far as someone that could be trusted that we were canceling. I had to let her know that she could still take the cruise, that we were not canceling spring break. And so that becomes important. That you will also note that tomorrow is the ACT test for juniors. That's a state requirement. And in this state, we're one of 9 states in the country that require that juniors, our students, sit for the ACT. They do not have to pass it. They just have to sit for it. And we've done a lot of preparation prior to getting our students ready to take this assessment. Again, it gives us a pretty good idea as far as courses our students have taken and looking at as far as a mastery to a certain degree. We also will have our 10th graders taking practice tests tomorrow in preparation, so we can look at skill deficits and things that we need to work on between now and next year. And it's been interesting as we started looking at some of those, we've been able to identify those areas that our students need to perfect. And the number one thing that always amazes people, and I have to bring this up, the number one skill that we have to work on is punctuation. And that everyone just, that can't be. Even our best and brightest, it's punctuation. And that's something that's a national trend. It's not unique to Wilson County, just for the record. So that's tomorrow. And then we're trying to wrap up our writing assessments this week. We're pretty much on schedule. However, if we have the great blizzard that hits Wednesday, we'll just regroup the best we can. So that's what we're crossing our fingers on. Is we people in that direction. We just received a report from the state comptroller completing our audit for the 2013-14 year, and pleased to report that there were no findings. Also want to send out a huge congratulations to our basketball teams who made it to the playoffs. Mount Juliet girls host Brentwood at 7 o'clock tonight in the sub-state. Winners will advance to state. The state championship start on Wednesday. Our Mount Juliet High School boys will play Hillsborough tomorrow night in the sub-state. Watertown girls advance to the semifinals. The Wilson Center girls advance semifinals, and then the 11 high school boys advanced to the first round of the playoffs. So that is something that we need to also recognize as well. I want to just do a shout out to our school librarians, our media specialists. I had the opportunity to present with the director of schools from Lincoln, Nebraska, and Mark Edwards, who's the director of schools in Mooresville, North Carolina. And looking at it's called Project Connect, but the idea of what happens in our world as far as the media centers, and looking at that new role that our librarians play in making the transition as we start moving from a world of print to a world of, as far as digital text and resources. And it's been kind of alarming around the country, because what's happening that as budgets are cut, there's many districts, for whatever reason, are looking at it as an expendable position as well as a large area. And our librarians, our media specialists, I have to say that when I was asking as far as how do you see the transition in the last 10 years, their voice was represented well at that conference, because they see themselves as a teacher of teachers, those that find the research and help support the classroom teacher as far as getting the needed text and data as far as for classroom assignments, and making sure that students are making that transition as far as from whether it's the writing assignment or reading that support that instruction. That's what the media specialist provides. And so many of them were so excited about their work with the classroom teacher and how they support that effort. That was something that, again, gave voice to, and our librarians were well represented in that. And so a shout out to them. Want to make sure that those of you that been instrumental in scheduling nights where I'm meeting with parents, the last 2 weeks we've had to cancel several, and those will be rescheduled. And so I'll make every effort to make sure that my assistant gets those back on the calendar, because I want to make that effort to go out and meet with parents and the community. So that will take place. They're not canceled entirely. And then just a last thing is an update for you as far as we continue conversation. And again, when we have conversation about looking at technology, use technology, I want to make sure I dispel the rumors that it replaces, it doesn't replace. It's a support, it's a resource, it's a tool. And with the conversation right now that's going on with textbooks and looking at adoption cycles of 6 years and the cost of what's happening with textbooks, please keep that in mind. You don't do away with textbooks, but you become more judicious about what you select. Because by the time you buy that text, it must last you for 6 years. They're already 2 to 3 years old by the time we purchase that first one. Simply because that's how long it takes to process those books and we get them in there. The average cost of a physics textbook right now is around $150, just in context. So I want to make sure I dispel that idea that if we look and move into a, as far as the use of technology, it does not displace, but it does as a resource, a tool. And when we look at how we move as far as with our youngsters in this new world, that will be something that makes them competitive with everyone else. Look at high performing districts. We need to remind everyone that where their kids are right now, and make sure that our kids get the same opportunity. And just as an update for the board, as a reminder, if we do not have the great blizzard this week, we have a retreat scheduled this Saturday at 8 o'clock. And the topic of discussion that we're looking at is that as far as our capital program and making sure that we work on creating some actionable goals and then looking at prioritizing the objectives as far as meeting the building program anywhere from present out to 5 years. And so with that, Mr. Chair, that concludes my report.
All right, you have something here from me?
And that the report that I was planning to do something after.
Move that we accept the director's report. I'll move by Mr. Willis, second. Second by Ms. Armstrong. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So passed unanimously.
And Mr. Chair, it's just a brief overview. It's something that the board asked me as far as that we made sure that we kept up with the part-time position that Amelia Tips has brought to us as far as keeping the community informed, and also is the public information officer for the district. And so she's provide some stats for you to look at, showing what she's done in a short period of time.
Well, to me, it's passing this, these handouts out. I got something I want to ask Dr. Wright and Mr. Jennings while he's here. Been a lot written and said in the last few days, since we've had the snow and ice as to, whether or not certain schools are going to be open and certain schools can't. I've always been of the impression and thought it was state law that one school's open, all open. And then I read in the paper from a story out of Metro Nashville where that they had asked for some clarification, and someone from the State Department of Education said you could open up an individual school. What is the law? I know we ain't heard it from you, but let's make it short. Is it?
I don't know. I've been reading the same thing you have.
But had you always been under the impression when we
I've
closed?
always been under the impression that the school system open and closed as a whole. The one exception is you hear about is if you had a water line break or a roof collapse or something like that. But if everybody was dealing with the same issue, everybody stayed closed. Everybody was open.
And what you're referring to is in the attendance manual as far as what we have followed and have followed for as many years as I can remember. There is a section as far as there that a district closes in its entirety as far as whether it's inclement weather or whatever, but can ask for a waiver from the Commissioner of Education if it's an individual school or an exception needs to be made. So, there's two subsections there that's listed. Ashley Ball with the Tennessee Department of Education, she is a spokesperson. She would be Amelia's counterpart, is the one that made the statement. There's a lot of pressure in Metro Nashville right now, particularly because when you look at it as far as in the urban center, as far as opening schools. But again, and respectfully, as far as when they make that decision, the logistics alone, as far as how you would staff a school, again, the assumptions being that you're going to have staff that lives with your community or this in the community where their schools are located, is simply not true. Many of them live outside the community. You would never be able to staff a school. And then when you look at transportation, just the logistics involved there, there's a lot of planning that would have to take place, and many times when you look at a closing, much like we just experienced, I'm not quite sure how they would make that work. And again, you're also looking as far as making a determination what kids go to school, what do not. The kids that would not be able to attend, there's some inequities that you would also be facing as well.
Just want to know what the law is.
I'm sorry, you asked for the law.
Thank you, Leah.
I just wanted to give y'all a brief update on where we've come. Social media was something that when Dr. Wright hired me and talking to several of y'all, you're going to see better utilization of it. So I just wanted to tell you where we've come basically in 3 months. As of December the 1st, 2014, which was the day I was hired, we had 3,500 likes roughly on our Facebook page. It's not bad, it's not great, but it was kind of stagnant. When I went back before there had been not a lot of growth, and you can kind of tell that we didn't have a lot of growth in the month of December of a lot, and then in January we started climbing. As of yesterday, we had grown to 5,118 for an increase of 1,614 likes in 3 months. Now, granted, I will tell you, a lot of that was driven when the winter weather hit. We started getting all kinds of new people coming on board who wanted to get them. That's okay. I'll take them. I've got them now. The thing is, I got to hang on to them. But the interesting thing is, you go back and you look, in the quarter before, our average back then was like 20 in terms of likes that we were getting per month. In this last reporting period, we had an average of 66. Also, previously, we had our comments turned off on our Facebook page. There's nothing wrong with that. It's because we didn't have anybody dedicated who could monitor them to make sure that nobody was using profound language or making, salacious comments or whatever the case may be. Now you do. So I turned them back on. And once I did, the number of comments that we started getting started rising. As you can tell, it went up to 20. Because we're posting more information frequently, our posts. One thing that's interesting to know is if, say, Dr. Wright likes a post and she shares it, and then you move on down and Dr. Weathers sees it pops up because they're friends. So her post shows up on your timeline. You share it. That's 2 shares. So that's how it starts snowballing and becomes exponential over a period of time. If you look at this one, is the number of people our post we're serving. Back then it's about 10. We served 620 on an average in the last week or so. The highest day we had was 30,456. And I have another piece of data that actually says we went as high as 80,000 on one of the days during the snow because it was getting shared so many times. What I really have found interesting, though, is some of the demographics. Roughly, as you can tell if you go to this slide, I'm sorry I kind of cut it off, 83% of our fans are women. 33% are between the ages of 35 and 44. 22% are in that bracket right below them, which I can't read on mine, is a little 25 to 34. So it basically tells me most of our friends, 50% roughly of our fans, happen to be moms. They fall into that demographic. Men don't like us so much. I mean, let's just face it, 17%, and even out of that, it's only 7% in 35 to 44 that pay any attention to us. But what's really kind of interesting is where, and you got to understand too, the ISP, Internet Service Provider, that's going to skew these numbers because it's wherever they're based, but you can still get an idea of where a lot of these people are coming from. Now, Juliet, Lebanon, Nashville. Another chart that I didn't include in here shows that most people get on our Facebook page somewhere between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. at night. There's a little bump around lunchtime, but not a whole lot that's in there. And we go all over the world, which is not to be surprising. The other one on the number of, this one was people reached, and this is the one that had the 86,000 in there at one point. And you can look at this and tell there was a big bump in the number in Nashville. I'm sorry this is so light, guys. And we had people from all over. We had people from Boston. We had people from Oklahoma. We had people from Las Vegas. I guess people were just checking the weather out all over last week while it was so crazy. And they were coming to some place that they figured that they could. The next 3 slides, this one shows the number of people engaged. And engaging means that they either like us, they share with it, they comment, they do something, they interact. They don't just go to it, see it, and then move on. And again, we have a high number of, and the majority of them follow them. They're in there. The overview on this, like I said, we've gone to 5,118. Our post, the total reach has been 64,168, which is not really bad considering we've only been doing this for a while. And we've got roughly 13,500 people that are engaged on us on a regular basis. But here's the interesting thing when it comes to Twitter. We started our Twitter accounts on January 22nd. We had no Twitter presence period prior to that. We did 2 of them. That Wilton K-12-10, because I couldn't get WC schools, it's taken by those folks over in North Carolina. They seem to staff up everything on there. That one is for everything and anything. The one that has jobs at the end is for Ms. Sparks and personnel to use to put the word out about jobs. When she posts there, it posts onto ours, but not the other way around. It also goes on to our Facebook page. 65.4% of our Twitter followers are female. 79.5% of them are single, which is not surprising, given that the average age is 18.2. So this tells me that most of these people are going to be our kids. Am I right?
You like Twitter.
Yeah, I figured y'all like Twitter.
I don't use it. We like
It's also interesting in there that I found They like joy, they like dancing and music in their spare times, comes as no surprise, nor does their spending habits, which this breaks out. But the one thing that I did find kind of interesting, and I just want to give you a moment to just bring this out and pause about it. One of the things that the analytics did was it showed that on Twitter, they tweet most about apps, cause/beliefs, and TV and film. Now, the apps and TV and film didn't surprise me at all. The fact that they're tweeting about causes and beliefs, I think some of our kids are a lot deeper and are more cognizant of things that are going on around them than sometimes we give them credit. And I just kind of wanted to point that out. In the future, what we're planning on doing, we're going to continue to post news and pictures in there. Like I say, I don't care what draws them to us. If I get them, and I got to keep them. That's going to be the biggest thing. We're going to create an Instagram account is next. Is that cool?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to create a LinkedIn account because that's something that a lot of colleges, I know, are telling their friends, because I have friends who have kids who are graduating and they're saying go to LinkedIn to look for job opportunities. I want to use our Facebook page for more substantive information as warranted about policies or procedures or anything along those. It's really funny because, not funny, but interesting. When you look at the comments, when we post things like the one-to-one conversion, you get a wealth of information there as to the thoughts that people have both in favor and those who are against it, and the why behind it. They're not just saying, I hate this idea. They're going into depth, and they're talking about their concerns. And I think that's important for us to know. I want to get with the high schools and put their TV shows and get links up there on there. I have to give a shout out to Christy Davis. She has been awesome on the website. She's a delight to work with. She's trained me on some stuff that I need to know so I could get stuff up quickly during the snow days that are in there. And we are working on the district-wide. We want to get the district-wide calendar up before the beginning of school next year, or right when school starts. And eventually we're going to have a dedicated area just for communications, already looking at some templates from some other school systems that have it. The other thing is, as Dr. Wright mentioned, going to meet the parent groups at schools, I will be tagging along with my trusty little iPad and laptop and stand, and we will be recording those and putting them up on our YouTube page so that people who can't make it and people who are from one end of the county who can't go to the other one or whatever, they have access to be able to hear what she has to say. So anyway, I just wanted to know where to let y'all know where we are, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Any questions for me? Good job, looking forward.
Thank you.
Thank you for the work you're doing. Dr. Wright?
Right along, we're looking at approving the proposed changes on the second reading of dress code policy 6.3.0. Thanks to Ms. Armstead from Coburg and for bringing us together as far as the language. And again, this is one that we were on the first reading on several meetings, but I would recommend that you approve the proposed changes to dress code on second reading, please. Okay.
You heard the recommendation. Recommendation of the record on policy number 6.310, dress code. Your motion. Motion, Mr. McNeese, your second. Second, Mr. Robinson. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor of approving 6.310 on second reading, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It shall pass unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have two sections as far as, and just as a reminder, is that we are charged by state law, and just so you'll know, it's 49-2-202, that the board annually review, not annually, but every 2 years as far as all board policies. And we are looking at this as an annual process. And so just for that to be noted and in the minutes that we do this on an annual basis, they're charged to look at it every 2 years. So the first reading as far as looking at board policies, section 2, the financial management, we were given a summary as far as changes, deletions, edits, and for some that, needed to be, taken out of policy, it was more practice, it was not supported or cited by, code, rules and regs, or anything that was in the county manual. I've had conversation, with everyone present tonight, just to see if there was any questions or anything that needed, more clarification. And so I asked, as far as section 2, to be approved on first reading.
Heard the recommendations of the director, I hear a motion. Motion, Mr. McNeese, second by Mr. Robinson. Any discussion?
Section 2.8. Yes.
And there, first, and to the director, either as a director or as in line with.
I've got issue 2.806, top paragraph, especially the last sentence, all requests for bids and quotes for supplies and materials, contracted services, facility renovations and improvements or construction of new facilities in excess of $100,000 must be approved by the executive committee prior to issuance of the request. I just think that goes beyond the executive committee's responsibility, and the board should be the one that approves the request of that magnitude.
And I understand, Mr. Weathers, this was a conversation I also had with the board chair, but what we're doing is putting the line as far as what we're seeing with other districts, and it's also supported by TCA code and 49-2-206. And where it very clearly spells out as far as the role, or first it defines the executive committee, and then the second piece as far as the role that it implies. And it doesn't displace the board, but it makes it expedient as far as moving the process forward, and it still comes back to the board as part of the minutes.
I would just say to that, Don, I did talk to Don right about that. And I can assure you, as long as I'm chair, anything like that would be brought before the board.
I just think
the necessity to do it, but board will always watch out on that board. I will ask you.
I think it's proper, you know, the keyword there can, I think it puts too much pressure on two people to make a multi-million-dollar decision when you're dealing with taxpayer money, because we're talking, you know, greater than 100,000 can be 50 million, 70 million. So I think it should be brought before the full board. That's just my opinion.
And, you know, and again, as I said, Mr. Thompson also asked that very same question. And as we're looking at it, where you look at other districts, again, the law allows it, but when we're down to one meeting a month, and it becomes an expedient thing as far as a time issue, districts that still have that as part of their policy, have multiple meetings in a month, so that you really don't have to rely on that executive committee. But again, this does not displace the board in any way, it's just for expedience, or and then it comes before the board, and also becomes part of the board minutes, but all the decisions just move the process.
I understand it. If we're not moving the ball along fast enough, you know, I don't think there's any time that this board has refused a special call board to address something of that magnitude. And, you know, I think this board stands ready to do whatever work is necessary to move projects along, especially when we're talking about capital projects. So that's my preference, and I'll shut up.
But this is merely a recommendation for me, though, so making sure that that's clear for the minutes, though, this is merely a recommendation.
First reading.
First reading, yes, sir.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor of passing 2.200 on first reading, vote aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Next show pass 3-2 on first reading, all right? That's right.
We we now have section 3 student support. Again, that was quite a bit of policy edits made. You also have a summary placed in front of you going through the student support. I asked for approval on first reading.
I hear a motion.
So moved.
I hear a second. Motion by Mr. Willis, second by Mr. McNeese. All in favor? Vote aye. Opposed? That show bad.
And just so you'll also note too, that where there was any, where the citations were not current as far as the TK code, you'll see it's notations where that was also updated as well. Or that we had a few policies that were out of date and did not have anything that was, that would have been tied to current practice, so that was also deleted as well. Before you have a copy of the updated organizational chart. And if you will note, you will see nothing that will appear different or strange to you as far as comment, but what you will see as far as a deeper line, as far as the report lines and where it goes to, there it is budget neutral. There's no additional positions and nothing that would impact the budget. A few that have been left off of, as far as half-time positions are not on it, so what you're looking at full-time positions. And again, that's for your information.
For the recommendation of the director to approve the flow chart, organizational chart. I hear a motion. So moved. Motion, Mr. McNeese. I hear a second. Second, Ms. Armstead. All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Like that. All right, let's go back to that.
And before you get to the budget, overlooked in our policies, 3.0, 3.9 policy. I know that was first reading, and I'd like to address the issue concerning, and I talked to Mickey about this, and I understand where he is concerned about a school system employee who cannot be an officer or a school support organization or be a signatory on checks for a school support organization. I did have a person who called and asked about that, and you know, as far as a treasurer or bookkeeper, I can see that if a person is even part-time employee, that would be a problem for a signatory. But as far as holding an office, if you want to be a substitute teacher and you want to hold an office with your PTO, Mr. Club concerning president, vice president, secretary. If there's a conflict, I'm not supposed to think about that. If the next time to bring it back, if you consider if it's an issue or not. And one other, and I know we're trying to get out here. The 2.4, where we're talking about revenues in the 2.4 policy, and on page 2, it discussed tuition incomes, and we mentioned what would that be when I was asked by a certain person who was interested in knowing if it was possible to pay a tuition for a student who lived out of town. And I happen to know this person. My first reaction was, well, most of the schools are not are overpopulated now, so that would not be probably a good thing. And then I was reading through the policies and I see tuition income. So I'm interested in finding out more about tuition income. We would like to discuss that in more detail later and find out if that's possible for schools that might not have population overflow. And if somebody were to come into the county and wanted to pay, how we would calculate that and what the criteria would be for that. So that's something for us to consider for tuition.
May I ask a clarifying question on that as well? Have we ever charged tuition as a district?
That's in there because if somebody's building a house in their county and they go into contract with allow them to come in, if they pay the local, they will share of that cost, but not for just anybody who's in here to pay a section of $1. That's not in there for that reason. We also call it tuition fee for entering the extended school program. But that's the main reason that one's in there, is for that daily rate. If somebody's building a house here, we let them come in, if they're paying their local share, daily share for the number of days that they're in school until they get the house.
That answers your question.
We were asking for approval as far as budget amendment number 2015-05. And you have a corrected budget sheet in front of you that was passed out part of the meeting. As far as the correction, there was a $2,000 typo as far as looking at the line. It says 38,025. It should be 39,025, and that's been corrected. And as far as that amendment, so I ask approval of the amended budget, please.
So moved. Motion by Mr. Willis, second by Ms. Armstead. Any discussion?
I'd just like to request that we update the electronic record so that it's in archives, corrected spreadsheet.
Yes, Kid, be sure to make sure that that corrected figure is in there in our minutes, okay? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? That's your best now.
And I am now asking, requesting that approval for bid number 2015-04 mowing as written. You have a letter from the maintenance director, Mr. Fox, as far as the request for proposals, get that reference bid, and a background as far as what took place. And you also have a copy of as far as the vendors and the selection process. So I'm asking for approvals for the mowing as written.
Heard the recommendation of the director that we approve the request from maintenance department on the mowing contract. Your motion.
So moved.
Motion, Mr. McNeese. Your second. Second, Mr. Weather. Any discussion? Only thing I'd like to do was make you give with mention somebody, and I'd like to know what schools are in those groups 1, 2, 5, 6. What schools? Who's going to be more?
What's in
What school? We'll get that information.
Okay.
Okay. All right. No further discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That's your passion that.
Sure that concludes as far as my recommendation.
Any old business come before the board this time? Any new business come before the board this time? Communications from our student board members. Ms. Lacy?
Okay. Well, for starters, our juniors will be taking our ACT, as you guys mentioned earlier today, and our sophomores and our freshmen will be doing practice testing, which you guys also mentioned was to further their academic and seniors will be going job shadowing and college touring tomorrow, so they don't have a summer school, but will be doing stuff productive, hopefully. Senior night is April 7th at 7 o'clock p.m. That's on the Tuesday after Good Friday, and you guys should go to the show. That's where all the seniors are announced for their superlatives and what their peers vote them as, like Miss Opulid or Mr. Opulid and school spirit, stuff like that. Our prom fashion show is April 2nd at 7 o'clock, and that's the Thursday before Good Friday. So if you guys want to do something before Good Friday, that's something to do. I will be one of your hostess, and Dover will be singing and dancing and showing off this year's most popular style from semi-professional dancers, hopefully the whole. It will definitely be a night to remember. Our next Tennessee Promise meeting is for our seniors is March 19th at 5 o'clock, 6:30. I don't know. We'll be talking about stuff like the task form that we had filled out in February and previous meetings, and then one step closer to getting that Tennessee prom stuff. Our junior and senior prom is May 16th. Valentine's Day was a success, so technically Friday, 13th, but it was still a success. FCCLA raised over $400 in cupcake sales, and both of ensemble raised enough money to pay for the state fire competition. Our drama department is working on our spring musical, Wizards of Oz. The performance dates are on March 26th, 27th, and 28th, all at 7 p.m. And then on the 28th, there's also an showing at 2 p.m. That's on Saturday. Our orchestra concert is tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the Outdoor Theater. Winterguard, Drumline, and the band will also be performing, so it will be like all the arts besides choir and drama that will be performing, which is really cool. Our love choir got superior in their division when they went to competition. As you guys mentioned earlier about our basketball teams going to the playoffs, it's really exciting. Our girls are playing tonight, and then our boys are playing tomorrow, and we're all excited about that. Everybody's going out and supporting our bears.
I'm here.
Well, you should go support our bears. We need the sport. All of our spring sports are participating and getting ready for the upcoming seasons. Hopefully, with the warm weather, pray for that. And our seniors are preparing to graduate on May 26th with our senior exit interviews and our resumes. And as we all know, spring break is next week with weather, so we're all excited about the warmer weather times. Okay, that's it.
I'm the council's pretty much.
Let's
keep it going, guys.
And Lacey, I heard the orchestra practicing today. Very, very impressive.
Yeah, well, we wanted to welcome you at our school, so we have to make a big impression.
Well, you did a good job.
I'm gonna start off, we found out the day after our last meeting, our valedictorian is silicone. And our valedictorian is step of all, and our silicone is me. And our annual blood drive today. And then, about a week ago, our history club participated in History Day. Indiana took things first, but I cannot remember which category it was. And then our Tennessee Prom Speak, our second meeting is going to be March 17th to 30th, and it's our last meeting. And then, as you said earlier, our writing assessment was finished up today, and then tomorrow we have our ACT and sophomore and freshman take their practice test. And then our FFAs were preparing for their district agricultural mechanical contest this Thursday. And our wrestling, we just now started on our new addition to the gym. There's some construction going on now. Baseball and softball open up Monday with 2 home games. Our boys soccer is still practicing for their opening season, and then our basketball team, you said earlier, opened up the regions with their football, and they also hosted our region tournament as well.
And the comment that came from the surrounding areas as far as about the school.
I really loved it.
They loved it.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Communications from the board.
Yes, not just when leave 9 at the half.
Leave the line at that.
Yeah.
All right.
Fill that out.
From a reliable source.
Very reliable.
Mr. Robinson, do you have any comment? Mr. McNeese has already given his, and he wants to get out of here. Mr. Don?
I'm good.
Ms. Linda? All right.
Go Bears.
Go Bears, yeah.
Yeah, go Bears, guys.
Congratulations to Coach Fryer and Coach Allen for getting us pulled off. I think they, I know they pretty got off. You can't get there back to Marcus Brooks.
Yes.
Maybe a little harder road there for Coach Allen and his guys, but maybe we wish them the best. Couple
They
things.
win. They open up with black.
Girls, oh my. Okay. I noticed on here we had on our handout here, I guess we can, mark off our dinner in, Margiano's.
Yeah, that's.
So that will be happening. I hope you all understood the, presentation that we had, from Angela and the importance of us participating in those interviews and things. And, Linda, I'm scheduled for a golf tournament on March 23rd, so you'll have to sit in for me during that meeting. And, I guess that's all. Motion, we're adjourned.
So moved.
You finally voted on
How you doing?
something. I'm doing good, Stephanie. You all right?